of the issues with this race, trying to broadcast it on Alan's channel, and that just well, there were all sorts of internet connection issues on his end, which is strange because normally the internet connection issues, normally that's something affecting me. But anyway, back in the race, lap 8 of the Canadian Grand Prix, round 7 of the season 14 PS4 AOR League. J Thorn is still leading the Grand Prix. Ali K in second, but he's still well within DRS range of J Thorn. Shelley isn't too far behind. RC Alonso. Alex is actually the first driver to be just outside of DRS range behind the next driver, so RC Alonso is just over a second ahead of Alex in the battle for fourth place there. Then there's quite a big gap actually between Alex and Jake LFC. Actually, there's a battle happening between Jake LFC and Simo. Simo's still in 7th place for the time being, but there is a battle going on down further below, and it looks like heading towards the hairpin. No. But of course, we've got one of the 2 DRS straights at this circuit. Ali K a good 7/10 behind J Thorn at this point. Shelley's in 3rd place. RC Alonso in 4th. I don't think we've got any moves shaping up for the time being. Alex is in 5th. Jake LFC 6th. Simo's still in 7th. So actually, around this 8th lap, we haven't seen, I don't think, any positional changes. But Simo's still all over the back of Jake LFC, heading towards the first corner. He's going to have to be late on the brakes. He's got the inside line. And, hasn't done it, although Jake LFC nearly went wide out onto the grass there. But Jake LFC is in 6th place, Simo 7th, Clarkey is in 8th, Big Shot Player 9th, Wooly 10th, they got Ollie D. Synthetic is quite a way back. I think, it was because him and Aresi both got caught up in an incident, and I think Synthetic put in a self-imposed penalty. I think he actually let Aresi catch up to him, but I think Aresi has subsequently retired. And then there's Novo Tank, who got involved in an incident earlier on, pitted, I think had a 5-second stop-go penalty, and he's currently in 13th place. So, Alan, I'm not sure if you're watching the stream or how much...
yeah, I am.
So, yeah, actually, we've got some moves lining up if you want to commentate over this bit.
Yeah, it is a bit of a delay, but if anyone was a little curious on what happened, I will say that Jerry Thorn was able to get by Ali K, because when I stopped streaming, Ali K was in the lead, I believe. I'm not exactly sure on that part, but Jerry Thorn is able to take the lead, and that right now on your stream it says he's pulling away to a 3/10 gap. Let me go full screen, I can't really see it. He's going away to a 3/10 gap over Ali K, now back to 2/10s. But I look back and behind, Shelley was able to start in the front row, and now he's already back to 3rd place. 4th place is RC Alonso, 5th place is Alex, 6th is Jake LFC, and now H Racing Green is the only retirement today. Now, I'm not surprised by that, because that's another retirement to go up on the total for H Racing Green. I look at the stats, and he only has 4 points this season. He already has 4 retirements, not including today. Today is his 5th retirement, so he has the most by any driver so far this season. And if H Racing Green wants to improve on those stats, I would start finishing those races. I mean, something could happen. Oh, hold on a second. It looks like one car is slowing down. That is the Red Bull of Wooly. Again, that's delayed. So it looks like the 2 Red Bulls are sandwiching the Williams right now. And right in front, you have Big Shot Player as well. I assume now they're in the hairpin. But, yeah, right now, J Thorn is still leading. And 10 laps in, a question to have here is, when will these drivers start their first pit stops now? Again, with these new tires, a lot more. They can go a lot more longer than usual. So I do expect a 1-stop today. I saw it in a league I did a couple days ago in Canada. So I expect the 1-stop today could go from Ultra Softs to Super Softs. There's a chance that could happen. So really, with I would say a couple laps away from the pit window, in my opinion, but there's a chance that some drivers could pit early or they could pit late to either do the undercut or overcut. But knowing a couple of the drivers in the field, I won't be surprised if they pull something up their sleeve due to strategy.
Yes, and we got Ollie D, who's just got a penalty down in 9th place, and we got a few groupings of cars. We got a group forming behind Clarkey in 7th place. Clarkey, Wooly, Ollie D. Big Shot Player was actually dropped back a bit from that group, but we saw that spill over just last lap. And then towards the front, well, the top 4 are all fairly close to each other. Ali K, though, just momentarily dropped outside of DRS range, although I believe he has actually got DRS on J Thorn. Yes, he has. Shelley in 3rd has also got DRS from Ali K, and same for RC Alonso. from Shelley. As you said earlier on, Alan, yeah, it should be actually a simple one-stop strategy as Aresi has come into the pits as you've just joined back in, so that makes things a whole lot easier. But Aresi...
not. It won't let me spectate. That's terrible. Well, that's... okay.
Well, that's very strange indeed. Anyway, Aresi... Now, I believe Aresi retired. I believe so. I mean, we did have a bit of confusion with Wi-Fi disconnections and all sorts, but I know Aresi spun out at the first corner, made contact with Synthetic, I believe, so I think he's retired, although I think it's an AI driver that's still going around. Anyway, Aresi has pitted, but still no change at the front, and actually J4 is opening up a slight gap on Ali K. Shelley is getting quite close, and actually... I'm wondering if I'm seeing things, or if it is actually starting to rain at this circuit. Certainly, it's certainly clouded over, and I think it has started raining. So, I was just about to say we've got a simple one-stop strategy, but well, that simple one-stop strategy now it's definitely raining. It definitely is.
Yeah, I mean, from the start of this race, you can see the blue patches in the sky. Now I can't even see any blue patches in the sky. I'm again an 8-second delay. So right now I'd be looking at it again. I don't see any clouds in the, I don't see any blue patches in the sky. I see only clouds. So there's a good chance that it could rain. There's also a good chance that these drivers could stay out a lot longer due to the fact, they know that it could or could not rain. We don't. So we're just assuming things. We're basically a weatherman right now. We're just making stuff up, and we're basically throwing spaghetti at a wall, hoping it sticks. We're making up stuff up with the weather. So, again, we don't exactly know what's going to happen with the weather. It could rain, maybe not, maybe just some clouds forming in the sky, who knows?
Well, but, Wooly has spun out. I believe he might have got caught out by the dampening conditions, as Wooly has now been overtaken by Synthetic, spun out at turns 3-4 there. So, yeah, so we are starting to see drivers being caught out by the conditions. That was Nervo Tank, went very wild there. So yeah, actually we are starting to see drivers being massively affected. DRS is still in operation, so we got Shelley all over the back of Ali K for second place. He's not going to make a move, not in these conditions. I mean, it's certainly still dry tyre conditions, but it's raining fairly heavily. I mean, there's a difference between it raining heavily and the track conditions changing quickly. Shelley's... I thought he was going to make a move there around the outside, but of course it's going to start getting greasy at the moment. So, yeah, if you want to brake a little bit later, normally you could brake 5-10 meters later, and you know you've got a bit of wiggle room there. Not in these conditions because you will just slide off. And actually, Ali K losing the back end there. So yeah, these conditions really starting to affect proceedings. And I was wondering because assuming, actually, we've got our first people pitting onto the intermediate tyres. I was just about to say about when people are going to start coming in. Obviously, we're not driving the track, so we don't know the conditions exactly. All I know is that people are struggling, and the rain looks quite heavy. Ultra Softs, obviously, the Ultra Soft tyres should do just less than half race distance, and that is exactly where we're at. We're on lap 14 of 35. So if it was an all-dry race, people would be pitting in at around this point. But, yeah, now, obviously, that's raining. It's now a case of pitting in when the conditions are most suited. Shelley has actually passed Ali K, so I think I missed that there. But J-Fawn has opened up a massive gap as J-Fawn has come into the pits. Shelley has stayed out. Ali K, RC Alonso, Alex, pretty much everyone has come into the pits or is in the pits, apart from Shelley. So Shelley has taken the effective race lead, and Nervo Tank has actually retired from the session. But yeah, everybody fitting intermediate tyres, and Ali K, thought he was going to be held up in the pits there, but I don't actually think he's lost a position, and I've just ditched, so great. And you're not spectating, are you, Alan? You're just watching my stream. Great, so we're both blind at this point. Well, I'm trying to join back in, but yeah, no, well, while we're blind, while we're not watching the race, actually, hang on, I should be in, right. But Shelley has stayed out for another lap. Alan, do you reckon that's going to work, bearing in mind the ever-worsening conditions?
You do have to keep in mind, again, you could already see spray coming off from the tires, and, you know, 1 second you're saying, oh, it might rain, next thing you know, it's downpouring here, so I don't think staying out's going to help, but at the same time, these drivers could go on the tires 1 lap too early, and it could pay off to the favor of the drivers who stayed out, and, so I just joined the session, and apparently there was this big collision on the front straightaway. There's a lot of yellows everywhere. I just joined back for the first time. So luckily I'm up to date with everything, so I'm going to start my recording again. So that is some good news. And we're going to go through. Shelly is finally pitting. He's coming off those ultra soft tires. And, yeah, so he's the only one left on those tires. Wow, and already they're going to pass him down the straight. J-Thorn hanging on to the lead by massive whopping gap to second place now. And RC Alonso, I think that was around 10 seconds. But taking an onboard view with Ali K, he's fallen a victim to RC Alonso, who's taken him for granted and taken second place from him. And, you know, Ali K started this race off in pole position, and now he's all the way down in third place. And, I mean, the drivers started on the front row haven't had the best of luck today. They're running in third and fourth, while RC Alonso and J-Thorn are able to take advantage of these drivers. They figured out how to run this track in the dry and the wet, and now they're running in positions 1 and 2.
Well, we're seeing towards the back end of the field, Simo has just passed Wooly. That was actually quite a wild move heading into the first corner. Simo much later on the brakes. I thought he was going to slide out onto the grass. He didn't, though. And Simo was able to actually keep the car just about on the grey stuff. So he's in 11th place. Wooly in 12th. The positional change, we should mention RC Alonso passing Ali K. I think I was just about to point that out, and then I disconnected from the session, but I believe RC Alonso actually passed Ali K in the pits. I think Ali K got held up by his pit crew, and RC Alonso had a quicker pit stop and was able to jump him in the pits. At least I believe that's what happened. Shelly, though, bearing in mind, when he came into the pits, he was only 10 seconds ahead of J-Thorn. Shelly actually hasn't done... Well, he's not that far behind. I thought he would have rejoined much further on down the field. He's only 7.5 seconds behind the leader J-Thorn, and you know the gap was around that when Shelly was leading anyway. So you know Shelly, despite definitely staying out 1 lap too long, he's still in 4th place. He's still fairly close to J-Thorn, so actually yeah, it's gone fairly well for him. And also, if the rain continues to get heavier and heavier, which I think for the time being it is, it does throw up the question of whether we will change onto wet tyres, and if we do, then yeah, then what surprises that could throw into the mix.
Definitely. I mean, as the rain conditions get harder, obviously we're going to have to pit again, and also bear in mind, again, trying to pass all these drivers, but again, we were pointing out that RC Alonso passed Ali K. I mean, when he said that, I mean, it was around half a second, and now look at the gap, it is 1.3 seconds. RC Alonso clearly is faster in the wet conditions compared to the dry against Ali K. You know, and meanwhile, when this happens, J-Thorn has just put off a massive gap. He could be our 6th different winner this season. And I love saying different winner because it just shows how diverse and different this championship is going to be. This season is going to be awesome. I'm telling you guys, the people that are watching, stay tuned for next week's race. We have next week's race. I think that's going to be Baku as well. Oh, yeah. Notification, if you guys want to watch next week's race, either subscribe to Nathan or me. I'm not sure who's streaming next week, but that'll be the Azerbaijan Grand Prix at Baku. And I'm really excited because, for one reason, the death curbs, that's what I like to call them, the curbs, very bouncy. And you saw in real life that they can provide a great race. Well, they do sure as well in the game. And I'm really excited for next week. The Azerbaijan Grand Prix will be live at 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. British Standard Time on our channels next week on Sunday. So during that, we are 18 laps in out of 35, a 3-second penalty awarded to Ali D. He's running in the 2-point position, and he's only a couple seconds behind Synthetic, who also is competing in the championship against Ali K. This is I mean, with Ali K starting on pole and not even running in the front row, meaning the 1st and 2nd positions, you thought this would be a good day for Synthetic to capitalize, but he's only running in the 8th position, and not the best way to try and take advantage of the points leader today. You do have to bear in mind that it is a 24 points difference between Ali K and him, so that gap is only going to increase after this, and he'll be an entire race win ahead of Synthetic. So, again, something needs to get done for Synthetic if he wants to fight for the championship this year. But another 3-second penalty, I believe that was for Shelley. I just saw it glance in the front of my eye. But I'm going to look back at the stream to see who it was for, and that, I think it was for Shelley, I'm not sure.
It was for Shelley.
30. Okay, good. I'm hoping I wasn't hallucinating for a second, but the gap between J. Thorne and RC Alonso, it's maintaining around 4 seconds to 4.1 seconds, ranging around from there. We have 13 drivers left in the Grand Prix. You did mention earlier that Tank did retire. I'm not sure how he retired or why he retired, but we have 2 drivers out of this Grand Prix. We started with 15, the lowest we had so far this season, and actually the gap between RC Alonso and J. Thorne is starting to decrease. As once I said 4 seconds, it has gone down 3/10 over this last lap, and RC Alonso doing everything he can to apply the pressure to J. Thorne. 19 laps done, 35 overall in this Grand Prix, and I'm gonna look at the stops because there are a couple drivers in this grid who have done 2 stops today, like Synthetic as well. Imagine if he made 1 stop. Imagine where he'd be fighting for in this Grand Prix. Same with Simo and Aresi. You know, the thing with Simo is that he knows how to put on strategy calls. He knows what to do. Today just wasn't his day, and actually he did he's done 1 stint more than he usually, or what he should have done, and now it's costing him. He's running outside of the points in 11th place. But as I jinxed RC Alonso again, I said he was gaining on J. Thorne, and now he's back to 4 seconds. So whatever I say, that the opposite happens. So nice to know I have commentators curse on me. But Nathan, you're 20 laps in. Do you think this rain can lift off, or do you think it's going to get worse on here from out?
Oh, that's a difficult one. I mean, it certainly is still raining. I mean, it's getting worse at the moment. Whether the only question that really matters is whether it will get to wet tyre conditions. Because as it stands, everybody's running on the intermediate tyres, and they all pitted around, I think, lap 14 mark. So they should actually. Is that traffic or? Oh yeah, that's the traffic of Aresi. I'm pretty certain Aresi retired. I think he is a ghost car, effectively. So I'm not sure why his AI is still actually driving around. That's very strange. But yes. Anyway, as I was saying, I believe the intermediate tyres should be able to last until the end. So there's no more pit stop strategy. The only thing that can really change in terms of strategy is if everyone has to fit on the wet tyres, or if people decide to fit on the wet tyres, or even if it dries up and we go back to dry tyres. But I don't see it going back to dry tyre conditions anytime soon. One thing I should point out is that Shelley, despite making the mistake and pitting in a lap later than all of the other front runners, Shelley is the pace setter in these conditions. He's been slowly catching up to J. Thorne at the rate of, I'd probably say, a couple of tenths of a second a lap, but certainly the gap between him and J. Thorne was well over 7 seconds. It's now 6.5 seconds. Shelley, he's caught up to Ali K. Ali K's losing a bit of time to J. Thorne. RC Alonso, his gap to J. Thorne staying pretty stable. So I would still say that the race, it's anyone's guess in the top 4. RC Alonso, Ali K, Shelley. Well, there's only 6.5 seconds separating first down to 4th, and of the top 4, Shelley is the quickest. So it's still anybody's guess, but you know, Shelley's got to get past Ali K, and we saw quite a few overtakes earlier on, but earlier on it was dry tyre conditions. There was more grip, there was more confidence heading into the corners on the brakes, and also there was DRS, and that has a fairly sizable impact on how easy it is to overtake. But yeah, the top 4, RC Alonso's got a time penalty. But yeah, the story of this race at the moment, it is very much the top 4 are all, you know, sort of in contention for the race lead, even though J. Thorne's got a pretty stable 4-second gap over RC Alonso. And then in 5th place, it's Jake LFC, who is, well, Clark, he's not too far behind him, and then Synthetic, Alex, they're all a few seconds back. But Jake LFC is 17 seconds behind J. Thorne. So it's the gaps really have opened up ever since. I think partly due to people pitting on different laps when it started raining, and partly due to the fact that I think all of the drivers, well, we saw it in qualifying, the gaps between all the drivers, it's fairly close in qualifying in dry conditions, but in the race, in these intermediate tyre conditions, yeah, there is actually quite a big gap as RC Alonso has caught up several attempts to J-Thorn. So has Ali K, so has Shelley. So I think J-Thorn has made a bit of a mistake on this lap. Yeah, I mean, J-Thorn, the lead he's got, it was 4 seconds not that long ago. It's now 3.2 seconds, so I said it's anyone's guess who could win this race, certainly in the top 4, and yeah, I mean, it is certainly proven to be the case, and that's assuming that we don't have to pit again or anything like that.
Yep, I'm going to ride on board with Shelley here. He's gotten massively close to Ali K off the exit wall of champions. Lost a little bit of momentum, but he was within 2 tenths, and he's right on the back end of Ali K. Lap 23 out of 35, locking up that right front in the first corner. He's going to go around turn 2 in the island and headed uphill towards turn 3. He's gotten massively close there in those last 2 corners to Ali K. The question is, when will he get by him? The thing is, with rain racing on this game, the chances of getting by someone or passing someone, seeing overtakes with the wet conditions on this game is very, very slim. But when we come to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, that all changes. I've already seen 5 overtakes in wet conditions so far today at this track, and that has really impressed me. I was gonna say improved, but it has impressed me so much because obviously throughout this whole entire season on any game, the wet conditions for trying to race people, it's not that much. It doesn't happen that much. But now, riding on board with Shelley, if he can get close enough to Ali K, he can make a move. He hits the apex off the exit, and he's going to have a lot of momentum to carry uphill down the casino straight. He's going to get right back behind Ali K for the podium position. That's the final podium position he has. We've seen it pass into the wall of champions here before. It did not end well. Tears were shed. And now they're going to head through turns 13 and 14, hopping over both curves, hitting the edge of the little yellow curb, and he's still gotten a good exit this time compared to last lap, coming across for lap number 24. And the question is, when will Shelley get by Ali K? I mean, I wouldn't say it's costing him, but I mean, look at RC Alonso. He's gained around 4 tenths over these last 6 laps. Ali K has maintained that 2.5 second gap, and Shelley has reeled in Ali K. So if he can get by him, he can reel in RC Alonso, and then they'll have a 10-lap chase to get down to J-Thorn to see if he can do anything about it. Though that'd be massively impressive from Shelley, not obviously give him driver of the day, but with Shelley, he needs to get by 3 cars to win this race, obviously. But the question is, when and how will Shelley do it?
When and how indeed. It's going to be tough, whatever the circumstances. But it's weird how the tables turn, because Shelley, we saw at the previous Grand Prix at Monaco, Shelley was one of the drivers who was holding up a train, certainly for the first instance. It's got incredibly close to the back of Ali K, almost thought he was going to make a move, stick around the outside there, but that actually wasn't the case. But he's now incredibly close, heading down the back straight, heading towards the Wall of Champions. He's got the slipstream, but actually, he's not even catching up, not really. So actually, even though he had slipstream, there wasn't that much of a straight line speed difference. I'm going to check that out actually next lap, because I can only assume that Ali K must be running a lower downforce setup. He has to be. Actually, that is a trend I've noticed quite a lot actually. Shelley nearly ran into the back of Ali K there going round the second corner. It's a trend I've noticed actually, that Ali K does tend to run lower downforce setups than most of the other competition, and it's Ali K, he is definitely someone that is tricky to get past down the straights, and in the corners he's pretty good as well. So a tough guy to get past, although if he is running a lower downforce setup, it would explain why his pace in the wet conditions, ever since we have changed to the wet conditions, hasn't been all that quick. RC Alonso, his gap to J-Thorn is still hovering around the 3.5 second mark. Ali K is a good 6.5 seconds behind J-Thorn. There's not actually. I was just about to say we haven't actually seen a great deal many overtakes, and there's just been a positional change between Ollie D and Alex. Ollie D has just taken 8th place, but actually Alex got the run and Alex has retaken the position. But never say never, heading into turns 8 and 9 where it is so easy to outbrake yourself. Ollie D, he's close, and the hairpin is a prime overtaking place, so we could easily see, bearing in mind these two, they've just battled for the past couple of corners, so I wouldn't put it past anyone to make a move, and Ollie D so nearly did. I mean, bearing in mind we've already seen drivers spin out, Aresi was spun out, and so we've seen that happen already. That was actually at turn 1, and that was in dry conditions. So, you know, we've already seen this Grand Prix, a slight tap on the rear of another car and it can send them spinning, and in these conditions it's incredibly easy to do. Avreti, of course, still running. I keep forgetting about that. But yes, J4 and RC Alonso, Ali K, Shelley. Actually, the gap, unfortunately for Shelley, he was closing up on J4, but now Shelley 3.5 seconds behind J4, and in fact, he's actually a good second behind Ali K. So I don't know whether there was a mistake made on Ali K's part. Certainly, Shelley, I think, might have made some mistake, or maybe J4 just set a blistering lap. As actually, J4, the gap between him and RC Alonso has also extended. I want to find out, actually, I'm going to see if we can get an insight into the straight line speed that Ali K reaches and Shelley does. So Ali K going up to 120, 30, 40 miles an hour. I'm sorry if anybody normally does speed in kilometers an hour, but 190 miles an hour for Ali K, so it's 196, 97, 197 miles an hour. I'll wait till the next lap till I find out what Shelley's top speed is. But yeah, bearing in mind, Ali K hasn't got slipstream. He's too far behind RC Alonso. So next lap we'll find out what Shelley's top speed is. Bearing in mind, he'll have slipstream. And yeah, we should get an idea on the aero setups that those two drivers are running. But yeah, Alan, do you reckon we're going to see that many more overtakes? Because we've seen in previous Grand Prix in this season, especially in wet conditions, that, well, when it gets wet, the number of overtakes just falls dramatically.
Well, I will say this. We will see 2 overtakes. One will be between Ali K and Shelley. Yep, that's my prediction. I'm putting these on the line right now. These are my predictions. So that one overtake will be between Shelley and Ali K. I don't think Shelley will have enough time to catch RC Alonso. It's taken him enough time just to, stick to the back end of Ali K. I'm going to go through the rest of the grid, see who's close to another. I reckon that there will be one other one. And look at Ali D. He's still to the back end of Alex. I'm going to have to say that either between 8th and 9th or 10th, that there's going to be one overtake between these 3 drivers, Alex, Ali D, and Big Shot Player. They're all too close to another just to finish like that. So I'm going to have to say that one of those drivers is going to get by one another at either an 8th, 9th, or 10th. So those are my 2 predictions. Look out for those positions because nobody else is really close to one another to put on a pass. RC Alonso still maintaining a 3.5 second gap, almost down to 3 full seconds. But the way he's trying to catch J-Thorne, he's not going to have enough time. And we may see a 6th different winner today here at the Canadian Grand Prix. But J-Thorne still leads 28 laps in the Canadian Grand Prix, so the most laps today. Despite not having pole, he's put on a good, stellar performance for the Silver Arrows. They're going to try and get their first win so far this season. But I'm going to ride on board with Shelley. 3/10. The AEI car, the teammate of Ali K, has really actually slowed him up. I'm not sure why. But now to the back end again, the question is, again, I keep saying this, when will Shelley get by Ali K? I mean, the laps are numbered. The time till the end of this thing, it's numbered. And for Shelley, he's on some pressure now. And it's going to take some time to get by Ali K and trying to fend him off. But really, if he just gets a couple laps chained together that are really good, there's a chance he can get by him, but a 3-second penalty for Big Shot Player. And hold on a second, down to the inside, there goes Ali D into 8th place. 1 out of 2 passes done in this Grand Prix, but Alex is going to try and fight it back. Down the straight they go, headed into turns 8 and 9. He may try the outside, and he'll try and squeeze him out, but Ali D is into the 8th position. And now, like you said, the prime overtaking spot is the hairpin. And now I think it'll be wheel to wheel. He'll take the position back, however, but down the straight, can Ali do anything about it? He's going to dive it down to the inside, takes back the position. Now we're going to go down the casino straight, and Ali D ahead of Alex. So coming to lap number 29 for Ali D it is, and he's back right in front of Alex. I'm not sure if you're going to count that as 2 overtakes. I'd say 1.5. But right now, Ali D found a way ahead of Alex. Now he's going to try and start creating a gap. Now I'm going to look back at Shelley and Ali K. I'm not sure if Shelley's going to get by Ali K, because Ali K I know is a very good defender as well on trying to hold people off. Remember the Russian Grand Prix? He fended off 6 different cars, 10 laps at Sochi, and remember, that is a parking lot full of straights, and he did a phenomenal job in holding everyone off. So Ali K, he's going to be a tough nut to try and get by. So we're headed to lap number 30 out of 35. We're headed to 6 laps to go, and the question is if Ali K can maintain that podium position.
Yeah, well, actually, we're heading down the start-finish straight again. Well, actually, the straight just before the start-finish straight, Shelley's top speed, I already noticed it was at 197 miles an hour. I'll check it again. It just dipped into 198 miles an hour, but Shelley, with slipstream from Ali K, so reduced airflow, Shelley, the top speed he reaches is 198 miles an hour. That's only 1 mile an hour more than Ali K. So Ali K definitely, well, he's got greater straight line speed, presumably must be running less downforce. So this is the thing, you already alluded to it, the Russian Grand Prix, where no one could get past Ali K. I think I might have mentioned it there as well, that Ali K seemed to be running a lower downforce setup. Certainly, at pretty much every single Grand Prix we've been to, Ali K has just had greater straight line speed, which in a game where it's quite difficult to overtake, he's made quite a few overtakes himself and he hasn't been overtaken all that many times, certainly not down a straight. So yeah, I think this is going to be the real issue for Shelley, is Shelley might well be the quicker driver, but it's just a setup issue that maybe Shelley might actually have the setup that's better for these conditions, but that's the problem, is if you don't have the power advantage, if you don't have the advantage down the straights, when are you going to? But one thing I noticed, I was going to bring it up as well, is that RC Alonso has caught up to J-Form, because last time I was looking at the gaps, last time we specifically mentioned the gaps, the gap between RC Alonso and J-Form was hovering around 3.5 seconds, and I believe it's about 2.5 seconds now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty close, almost on a 2 flat. Clarky, a 5-second penalty, and I will like to brag in your face a little bit, Nathan. I sort of was right on how many times you would disconnect today. That was 2.
Yeah, I might disconnect another time.
Yeah, commentator's curse. There's a good chance of me jinxing you there. Knock on wood. But we have 5 laps to go at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. J-Thorn still leads, but for how much longer? He's starting to get chased down. There's a yellow in Sector 1. Hold on a second. Going through the grid, I don't see anyone spun off the circuit. I think that's just an AI glitch, or the safety, not safety car glitch, the yellow glitch that I like to call, that they just randomly throw for no reason. Maybe for debris, and my definition of debris, stuff that you can't see on the racetrack. It's a little term I like to say, but Ali K still leads, but you can see behind is Shelley. He's going to have a look to the inside as Ali K runs wide, but off the corner of the hairpin now down to the Casino Straight. Ali K still leads here in Montreal with 5 laps to go, coming to 4 laps to go. I assume so. J-Thorn has not crossed the line yet. No, he has not, but speaking about him, we have mentioned RC Alonso has closed in a second compared to him, and J-Thorn trying to go for his first win of the season. It looks like you have joined back, so that is some good news there. But 4 laps to go here in Canada, and Shelley is still stuck behind Ali K. And if I'm correct, Shelley has no podiums this season, so it could be a new podium driver as well. RC Alonso's going for his second podium, and J-Thorn is going for his first win and podium of the season. So really, I think there'd be more drivers with podiums this season than without. I think that says something about the lineup that we have this season. Really, really, really competitive. And that is fantastic stuff for me, because I love seeing competitive races. I love seeing different drivers up in the front every single weekend, and I enjoy this. I really do. And J-Thorn, again, we said this earlier in the Grand Prix, he has not led any laps before this Grand Prix. He has not led any single lap so far in any Grand Prix this season, and now he's led the most laps today, and he's en route to victory if he can hang on to this 2.5 second gap he has, coming to just 3 laps to go. So we look back at second, RC Alonso, he's 2.5 back. I mean, his gap to him and J-Thorn is like a roller coaster. Sometimes he gains a couple tenths, sometimes he loses a couple tenths, sometimes he gains a second, sometimes he loses that second back the next lap. So RC Alonso really needs to be consistent if he wants to catch J-Thorn. Plus, even if he reels him in by, let's say, 1.5 seconds, you're still going to need, let's say, that DRS. But then again, oh, it's raining. You don't have DRS, so that's not going to help you. And plus, we only have 3 laps to go, so the chances of you passing him are very small. So Ali K and Ali K and Shelley, those are the only 2 I can see still passing each other. Everyone else, I think it's just going to be single file. So a couple laps to go. Shelley has really reeled him in, and I think now he's starting to get desperate now. So once he gets close enough to Ali K, I think he'll try a dive bomb, maybe in the hairpin. If not, I don't know where else. because obviously Wall of Champions wouldn't be a smart place to do it. But right on board with Shelly in the Renault. They're going to head down, losing the back end just a little bit off the exit of turn 9, now down to the hairpin. Turn number 10, locking up. He may have a look to the inside. He's going to put his nose in there. Just enough, but off the exit, Ali K is still there. I think that's a little warning from Shelly saying, I'm going to be there with the next couple of laps, and if you want to defend me, you're going to have to bring up your game, because I just brought it up to a new level. Coming to 2 laps to go, Jaythorn still leads, but Shelly trying to add on the pressure against Ali K, hopping over the sausage curves off the exit of Wall of Champions. He may try something in turn 1 in the island of turn number 2. On board again with Shelly, maybe trying something, but backs off to be safe. Hold on, there's another position to change between Big Shot Player and Simo. So another position, Big Shot Player into the points against Simo. And Simo trying to get in the points. Remember, Big Shot Player, a 3-second penalty. So most likely this battle does not matter. So Ali K still leads 3rd place, 2 laps to go. Shelly back and forth. And the question is, I mean, Shelly has seen what a dive bomb would do to him in the hairpin. Do you think he's gonna try and improve on that, or try and be more aggressive in the hairpin, or is he just gonna wait till the last lap?
No, I think he might well go for it this lap. I really do. I think he's just trying to feel his way in. I think he's getting more and more ambitious and braking slightly later and later and later each lap, and he's right there with Ali K.
What is he doing? Ali K. Moving under the braking, Ali K. I mean, I'm not sure if that's against the rules or anything, but I mean, we've seen similar incidents where a driver has moved under the braking and it has resulted in a penalty. I'm not going to say anything else forward, but we head to the final lap today, and Jaythorn, a phenomenal job, well done. If you can just coast the car around one more time, the gap is less than 2 seconds now. Shows the kind of pace that RC Alonso's put up. A final lap for Shelly and Ali K, and he may try to swing it around the outside, not going to do anything. The battle for 3rd is on. Puts the nose on the outside. Back to the gearbox of Ali K. Pushing uphill towards turn 3. Can he do anything about it? Maybe a last lap pass for 3rd place. Our points leader. I mean, he doesn't have much to risk. But if he gets taken out, do bear in mind, the second driver in points, Synthetic, he's in 7th. So let's say he gets taken out of the Grand Prix in the last lap. Again, something can happen, and it most likely will in motor racing. And Ali K, I mean, there's not much to be worried about, but if he wants a podium today, he's going to have to fend off Shelly. The last 2 moves he's made have not been successful. Can the 3rd time be the charm for Shelly? Off the exit, that's a beautiful exit against Ali K, and now he's all the way to the back of him. He may try the outside in the hairpin. He could try the switchback, but closes the door. Ali K's got to go defensive, but around the outside goes Shelly, losing the back end just to hit the apex. He may be there, riding on board. I think he just ruined it. Oh man, what was he thinking? I would have just stuck behind him and made him move in the Wall of Champions. I think that's put the nail in the coffin, because Jaythorn will come across the line. He's won the Canadian Grand Prix. RC Alonso 2nd, and now for 3rd place through the final corner, hopping over the curbs. Nothing can be done. Ali K will come across the line. 3rd place it is, and a well-deserved one for sure. A well-fought one indeed. Coming across the line for 5th place, LFC. 6th will be Clarky, 7th will be Synthetic, 8th will be Ali D, just alone. A little cotton ball in a basket, one by himself. So coming across the line, Ali D will be 8th place, no one in front or behind him, very peaceful for him. Alex back in 9th place, 10th is Big Shot Player. And on the back end, he's gotten so close to move these last couple of laps, but Alex gets lucky against Big Shot Player. Wooly, no points for him, neither for Simo or Aresi. 3 laps down, and that will finish today's Canadian Grand Prix here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Your winner today, 6th different winner of the season, Jaythorn 97, gets the job done here in Montreal.
Yeah, you said Ollie D had a piece. You said Ollie D had a peaceful finish, but let's not forget it wasn't that long ago that he had that epic battle with Alex. So actually, I think Alex might have made a mistake, got caught up with the traffic behind. But Ollie D, yeah, peaceful come the end, but yeah, massive battles earlier on.
Yes, but your podium driver today will be on the top step, Jaythorn, 2nd, RC Alonso, 3rd, Ali K. And it's not the first time that these 3 guys have been on the podium together. I think it was last season they were on the podium all together as well. But that will finish out the grid. We will get driver interviews for you. But here's the rundown, and I will do it very, very quickly. It will be J Thorn, RC Alonso, Ali K, Shelley, Jake LFC, Clarky, Synthetic, Ollie D, Alex Big Shot Player, Simo Woolley, Kimi Räikkönen, or Ressi, Nervo Tank, H Racing Green, and that rounds out the grid for this year's Canadian Grand Prix. Here at Circuit Shield Villeneuve, the penalties are chaotic, I believe. Ressi, Simo, Ali K are the only drivers to not get any penalties in this Grand Prix. Everyone else has gone ranges from 3 seconds of penalties all the way up to 13 seconds of penalties. So I think that will do it for today's Canadian Grand Prix. Never mind, 14 seconds for Nervotank. Remember, Nervotank retired midway through the Grand Prix, so imagine if he finished this thing. Probably had 24 seconds of penalties or something, 28 I mean. But that will do this year's Canadian Grand Prix. We'll get driver interviews in just a moment. Since Nathan is streaming, I will invite them. So Nathan, you want to rate this race?
Oh, that's a tricky one actually. I think this race, it did get a bit duller once the rain fell down. Unfortunately, we have seen that with several Grand Prix, or certainly tracks where it's difficult to overtake. Monaco had its moments, but it was a bit dull. Anyway, let's not talk about the Monaco Grand Prix. This very Grand Prix, it was quite chaotic at the start. We saw a Ressi get involved in incidents, I think, with Synthetic. Nervotank retiring, H Racing Green started the race on the super soft, so I was going to say it would have been interesting to see how that would have panned out, but actually wouldn't have made any difference because of course the rain fell. But yeah, honestly, quite an exciting Grand Prix. Well, it was at the start. The end, at least there was always that constant battle of Ali K and Shelley to keep things interesting. RC Alonso catching up to J Thorn come the end. Yeah, no, I'd give this race out of 10. If I was giving it a rating out of 10, I'd say 7 out of 10.
I would have to say 6.5 because Canada has not been nice to us on internet connection. I'm kidding. It's not the track's fault, but yeah, 7 out of 10. That was a good race. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I would say maybe even 7.5 just because usually the rain will chime down the racing, but even with the rain, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve proves to be a track that overtaking can happen in no matter what conditions. Maybe even if it was, raining wood or something, or I don't know, there was snow or whatever. You'd still see racing at this track because that's Canada for you. It's a fantastic track, but we are awaiting our race winner, J Thorn, to join us in the party. I'm not sure if he will, though. Let me invite him one more time. If not, we will invite our second place finisher, RC Alonso. And if he doesn't join, then we'll do Ali K. But those are our podium finishers. We also forgot to say who was our driver of the day. I'd have to say J Thorn. I mean, he didn't even start on the front row. Was able to pass Ali K or pole sitter in dry conditions, and then pull away in the wet conditions. A good multi-condition driver today, and does it here in Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And he's done a good job today. How about you?
Yeah, I think for me, the driver of the day has to be one of the drivers that finished in the top 4. I mean, Simo did an alright job making some overtakes further on down the field, but yeah, for me, Ali K was very quick in the dry conditions, Shelley very quick in the wet conditions, RC Alonso did fairly well, but at the end of the day, they were all beaten by J Thorn. And RC Alonso, actually, once the rain started falling, RC Alonso didn't even have to worry about Ali K. So the fact is RC Alonso, I think, over the course of the entire wet stint, I think he did catch up to J Thorn, but, about 2 seconds in 20-odd laps, it's just not that much. So yeah, I think it's difficult to argue anyone else other than J Thorn. He was just untouchable. As you said, didn't even start at the front, and yeah, still won the Grand Prix. So yeah, definitely J Thorn for me is the driver of the day.
So I'm gonna have to invite Ali K because neither first or second drivers have accepted my invite. So.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, I know.
No one likes you.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Don't worry. So we'll invite Ali K. I mean, we can rely on him. He always likes to do these. He likes to do these interviews. Always joins us, so it's a pleasure to have him. So 44. Hold on a second. I think he defriended me.
Well, Ali K.
Find him on my friend. He was on my friends list, and then he just defriended me. Exposed Ali K.
Oh, don't worry, I'm still friends with you, Alan. I'm still friends with you.
Oh, thank you. We'll get to the bottom of that after this interview. So here we go. Ali K joins us. So we'll start off first. How are you able to hold off Shelly at the very end and get the final podium spot?
I don't know really, I just actually paid attention to defending, unlike in Spain. I kind of learnt my lessons from that race, I think, where I got passed a bit too easily by Synthetic and Alonso, so I actually properly defended this time and it worked out alright. Some of it was a little bit aggressive, but I think it was reasonably fair for the most part, so yeah, I'm reasonably happy with P3. I just didn't have the pace on the inters. I didn't do a huge amount of practice, so I came into this one with damage limitation in mind, so I was very surprised to get pole and really happy with how I actually delivered in that quali session. But I simply didn't do enough race practice, so I didn't know when the ultras were going to go off, so I was just pushing flat out, and then that really backfired. At the end of the ultra stint, and I dropped a couple of seconds back from Thorn, then Shelley passed me literally just before I came into the pits, and that meant I got jumped by Alonso, and that was basically the end of my race for the top two, and then it was just keeping Shelley behind for the rest of the race, which was pretty intense, but I'm pretty happy with the result in the end. I gained points over the people that I'm fighting for the title, so I'm reasonably happy with that.
Well, you say it was an intense battle, and it certainly was. I mean, for the second half of the race, I mean, we were pretty much just watching you and Shelley solid, to be honest. It was by far and away the most exciting battle. But one thing I've noticed, to be honest, I think I've noticed this with you before, that you seem to run comparatively compared to everyone else. Well, I was going to say lower downforce setups, but certainly your top speed on your car is always quicker than everyone else's. So for this Grand Prix, because, okay, just give you the specifics, I noticed the straight just before the Wall of Champions, your top speed was 197 miles an hour, I noticed on one lap. Shelley, even with Slipstream, 198 miles an hour. Only 1 mile an hour difference with Slipstream in the wet conditions. So, so basically my point is this, I'll get to the question eventually. The point is, okay, two things. Firstly, do you reckon that you do run lower downforce setups? And secondly, were you running a dry setup, or, you know, do you reckon other people are running wet setups, you know?
To be honest, I have no idea. I don't think it's something that you can say as generally as that I in general run low downforce setups. That is very specific track to track, but this one in particular, I was going to run 1.9 wings and 11 ballast, because that's what, in the few laps that I'd done, was the fastest. But then, when I saw it was going to rain in the race, I almost panicked and changed the setup to something that I hadn't tried before. So I think I went with 3.6 wings and 8 ballast, which I was not used to at all, and that definitely showed in the opening bit of qualifying where I just couldn't get a lap together, but thankfully it did come together in the end. But yeah, I don't know whether that was the thing. I don't know whether Shelley was actually running his 1.9 wing setup, because that's where I got it from. I just nabbed it from time trial from him, so I did notice that that was actually quite slow in a straight line, so that might be why, but I didn't intentionally go with that setup with the intention of being quicker in a straight line. That's just how it happened, I think.
So thank you very much, Ali K, for joining us in the booth today. And thank you for actually joining us, because the other two drivers that you joined on the podium didn't bother to join us. They probably have busy lives as well. So thank you for joining us, and good luck to next week in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so next, who else can we invite? Who else is still in the lobby? We have Syntech, we have Jake, Ali K, Nervatink, and H-Racing Green. I'm surprised H-Racing Green is still here after he retired on like lap -1. So I'm gonna check through.
Just the usual.
Yeah, just the usual. It's his 5th retirement, by the way, and this is round number 7. So it's not good.
Alright, I shouldn't laugh.
Yeah. Don't worry, I left too. Okay, we might interview Shelley. I'm not sure he's on my friends list or not. I'm not sure
I can suggest him if you want. Yeah, I'll suggest Shelley for you if you want.
Yes, thank you.
Do you happen to know the championship standings now?
You a lot, everyone else not as much. you started this Grand Prix out with 24, and Syntac I think finished like 7th, while you got 3rd. T minus 6. So I had 24 to 9. That'd be, you had like a 33-point lead, unless Big Shot player RC Alonso got ahead of them on points. Then I don't know. But thank you. If you suggested. Shelley was just online 2 minutes ago. so I think he's the only interview we can get out today.
Actually, invite Alex, because he sounds like he's not very happy. I've tried to hear what he has to say.
We tried that with Jake, and he never joined. So let's hear Alex rage on this. I'm hoping he rages. That'd be hilarious. You can stick around if you want. You can actually ask a question as well. But we'll wait for him to join. But again, info on next week. The Azerbaijan Grand Prix will be live either from Nathan or my channel, because I did not have the best internet. As people could tell in the lobby, like, I disconnected from the party twice, and it put me in the game chat, and I had to quickly stop talking. But yeah, next week should be the Azerbaijan Grand Prix at 3 p.m. Eastern or 8 p.m. British Standard Time. I'm really excited for that Grand Prix, especially just because of the curbs. That's going to pose a huge threat for the drivers as well, do you think?
I'm not excited for the curbs. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm excited. I'm excited. I already did a league race with them, and let's just say it was bumper cars, so... I'm gonna invite Alex one more time. If not, looks like you'll be the only interview person we'll get out today. But, yeah. Usually I'd fill some stuff in to say right now, but I ran out of stuff to say. So, yeah. I actually really like that Grand Prix. I hope I can fix my internet, but, Ali K, do you know why we didn't have 15 drivers today, just out of curiosity?
I think Big C's in London doing his ESPN stuff. Gamer has exams. Bronson is being Bronson. Who else were we missing?
David Greco.
He's in Abu Dhabi.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I believe he was helping out with the esports stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't think Alex is gonna join us, so I think that's
Oh yeah, he said okay. He said okay. He said he's joining.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
just in time. So the man, the myth, the legend, Alex is in the booth with us today, along with Ali K. Ali K already answered our question. So, Alex, so Ali K said you were angry. Can you tell us why?
Me?
Well, yeah, you did say...
Yeah, because I'm so shit in the wet. Yeah, well, just... and the drive was good, just followed the train really, and... Yeah, but then when it was wet and I lost 2 seconds per lap really, and then this was the race over. From now on, it's just hoping for the few dry races that might come and maybe pick up a few wins, but for now it seems that Ali's to lose and maybe one of the Salvas can, yeah, do some damage.
Yeah, we saw in the wet conditions you were battling with Ollie D. I mean, we were too busy focusing on the battle for third place between Ali K and Shelley, but was there, because I noticed you were quite close to Ollie D, and then suddenly you were several seconds back. Was there a mistake there, or was that just a lack of pace?
The second. It was just, yeah, I mean, the most apparent it was when Synthetic was behind me, and then he overtook me, and he was 2 seconds a lap quicker. I just couldn't do it. And I don't know why. Like, I had the same setup as Thorn. Like, I gave him my setup, like, funny enough. So, yeah. I don't know. It's just the issue is when I'm on the brakes, I'm locking up all the time in the wet. And traction-wise, this race was good, but I had a lot of understeers. So it just, whatever area I try to tackle, it's just making one area so bad that I'm still really shit in the wet. So yeah, I might, I don't know, I will try to fix that maybe for the next few races, but really it's just hoping to have a good dry race like Monaco, at least like quali. And yeah, it was a bit sad this one because I think I could have gotten pole, but I did quite a heavy mistake and it happened, so it cost me maybe 2 or 3 tenths. But yeah, in the dry the pace is good, and at least having some fun is possible.
Thank you very much for your answer. So I think that will do the interviews for today. For the Canadian Grand Prix at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, my name is Alan Cavagnar. I'm alongside Nathan, our PS Loot and Rules. We'll see you next week for the